All right, you guys here at ProClean have been doing this for about 25 years. You guys are focused on the people that you serve, and you are focused on the detail and the work that you do. Throughout this campaign, we wanted to highlight a couple of unique things that made you guys stand out above the rest. We understand that you spend a lot of money on certain certifications, the IWCA and the SPRAT certification, to make sure that you get those high-rise windows, the high-rise building windows clean into the spec that you want. We understand with the commercial aspect that here within Salt Lake City, it is a growing population. There's a lot more business coming in. You're really focusing on that one. And you're also hitting on the residential side as well. Trust me, I'm lazy when it comes to windows, and I don't want to deal with the headache and hassle of cleaning the windows inside and out. I would much rather hire someone to come and do that. With the full services that you guys are able to do, it makes either my life easy and whoever's searching you guys a lot more easier as well. Focusing on the interior, exterior, and exterior. I mean, I don't even have an awning, but if I had one, I would for sure call you guys to come get it done, because with the way that we advertise and unique services with the cleaning that you guys do is bar none top the best. We all know those pesky stain spots and removals are really hard. Like I said, I'm lazy. I don't want to deal with the headache and hassle. I'm going to call you guys out because doing my research and through the campaign that we ad, people trust you, and you have been doing this for 25 years. Throughout this ad, we have also decided on some top keywords that made it more presentable for people to search you, and I'm going to turn it over to Jake for that time.
All right, thank you. So one of the things we started with was focusing on the broad range of services that you guys provide, and then as we saw which one of these impressions and these the search engine optimization was working well for you, we honed in some of the strategy that we had. So from a cost per click standpoint, there were three keywords that rose to the top. The first one was the commercial window washing services that came in at $7.39 per click. Now, this was certainly one of the more costly keywords, but the one thing it did provide for us was it put your ad up to the very top position in a Google search when looking for commercial window washing services. The second one was the Utah window washing. That came in at $4.42. It was a broad match search, but again, I think because it rose to the top and we got some clicks off of that, we left it at it as is. And then the ProClean Windows was the third top keyword we had. ProClean Windows is a pretty specific search, and so we believe that this is either returning traffic, which is important. Even if it was not returning traffic, those searching for professional window washing services landed with your ad present. So part of the reason we focused on these three specific keywords is because they were centered on commercial window washing, and we felt as though it would give you a higher return on investment. So what we did was increase the actual bid prices for these under the commercial setting. So now we're going to talk about some of the impressions we got.
Okay, so how I think of impressions is the much needed exposure. Okay, it doesn't always equate to clicks or conversions, but you have to get the exposure in order to propagate that. So in terms of our top impressions, we see that Utah window washing was our very top. That came in with 219 impressions. So that had a click-through rate of 1.83. So pretty good there, pretty good exposure on this Utah window washing. Commercial window washing service was our number 2. Came in with 57 impressions with a click-through rate of 7.81. So this one was great because this one had a much higher click-through rate. Our last one on the list was ProClean Windows. So this one is a little bit more specific. That one came in with 16 impressions and an even higher click-through rate. Why that's important? The better your click-through rate, the more possibility of conversion you're going to get. So we see here with this screenshot, we went in and just Googled commercial window washing service. And you can see based on this screenshot that your guys' ad for that exact thing came up in the #1 spot. Okay, so we felt that that money, that return on investment, was best spent on this top performer. You can see you're #1, that's where you want to be. A quick analogy to this, I always think of if I'm trying to, let's say, increase my social media presence, if I want an X amount of likes on my posts. In my case, I have roughly 600 Instagram followers, and I get around 150 to 200 likes per post, depending on what the content is. So you're looking at roughly 30% there, right? So if you're looking to get more likes, you have to get better, more impressions. You need that exposure. So, because every single follower I have isn't gonna like everything that I do. So if I want to increase my likes by 100%, I need to effectively double the number of people that follow me, the people that are exposed to what I have to offer. So now we're gonna get in a little bit to these AdWord groups here. And I'm gonna turn the time over to Jan for that.
So I'm going to talk about the different AdWords groups. We wanted to choose 2 different groups so we could fully show the customer what different types of services that you provide, and so that we can also get the most impressions and the most views possible. So we divided the AdWords groups into 2, commercial and residential, so that we can also bring in the commercial customers and the residential customers. So with our commercial campaign, we got 786 impressions. So that's how many views. So when somebody Googled for a window washer, you got 786 impressions. 31 clicks, so 31 people clicked on the ad to go to your website. And then also our click-through rate was 4.1%. So that's how many people clicked after viewing the impression. And in the residential campaign, there were 5,176 impressions and 47 clicks with a click-through rate of 0.9%, so a little bit lower. So the commercial campaign is obviously doing a little bit better. So this is just some of our numbers that we got from running the campaign. Here are 2 groups, commercial and residential. And you can see here the clicks and impressions. And again, our click-through rate, so that's the percentage of clicks per impressions viewed. And then also, this is the average cost per click. So every time somebody clicked on that, it would cost $4.02. And then this is how much we spent on the different AdWords groups. So $124.51 for the commercial and $105.53 for the residential. And now I'm going to turn it over so we can talk about key performance metrics.
All right, thanks, Jan. So this is kind of a little bit of a summary. We wanted to focus mostly on click per cost and click-through rate. So like Jake talked about earlier, we really hit home on the commercial side in increasing bids, and we saw great success in terms of landing those ads on the first page. This in turn has increased the number of click-through rates and impressions. So commercially, we feel like we are kind of dialed in, but residentially, we understand that it's a little bit seasonal and has to change. Our current attack plan is not necessarily optimized at all. So with that, what we want to do simply is to follow the same pattern. We're going to analyze which ones are having the most success. We want to increase the bids on the residential campaign side. We recognize that we did make a few mistakes early on, and that cost us a little bit, particularly in the broad keyword, and we corrected. The one that we really noticed was kind of brought our campaign down a little bit and brought unwanted impressions of UT. So that was a very broad match that we didn't want that kind of traffic. So we've remedied that, and we're really focusing on the ones that we feel like we can have the most impact to land you guys on the first page and hopefully somewhere within the top 5. So currently our plan will be roughly to increase it by 10 to 20% in terms of the residential campaign, and monitor that for a week. The example that we like to use, one that seems to be getting a lot of traffic, is Salt Lake City window cleaning as an exact match. So just to give a little bit of context to this as well, if you could imagine, you're out fishing, you can see fish jumping, and you've had your, you cast out and you've had your lure in the water you've had the bait in the water for a good 20 minutes now and nothing's happening. The idea is to kind of that PDSA cycle of plan, do, study, and act. So we're going to reel that back in, focus on changing it up a little bit to try to optimize those bites, right? So we can increase our click-through rate and really optimize you on the residential side as well, so we can kind of match, hopefully, what we're seeing in terms of commercially. And what we also are going to implement effective immediately is simply including your phone number in the ad campaign itself. So when people look up or type in keywords and your ad pops up, we're going to include the contact number so they don't even have to dive into the website. We've noticed that a lot of people just like to get a quick contact number, make a phone call, and get an estimate. So we're going to introduce that to your ad campaign as well and hopefully see more success for your business. So that's kind of the attack plan so far, and Josh is going to give us a little bit more detail on what we see and what we kind of recommend moving forward with your campaign.
All right, thank you, Nick. So I am going to focus on the recommendations moving forward with the future of your ad campaigns. So we recommend that you strategize your two services provided between commercial and residential based on the seasonal change that you have throughout your business. So being a commercial window washer in a large city, you should look at putting together a contract where a company or a business owner does not need to worry about the continual phone calls that he might make and getting you out there to clean their office space. So if I own a company and I'm in a high-rise building, I'm more likely to want to put together a 5-year contract where you guys come out, you do the windows. I don't need to worry about making the phone call. I'm focused on my business. So we recommend adding that to the webpage as an option within the bid price. So when somebody goes to Google, they're going to search for Salt Lake City window washing contracts. So we separate ourselves from the competition. As far as residential is concerned, being in Utah, you're less likely to wash your windows in the middle of the winter. So maybe we will decrease our cost or our key searching bids throughout the winter months and increase them more in the spring, summer, and fall. So those are more likely to land on the top page of a Google search. And we recommend doing that 3 months, I guess annually for residential and every 3 months for commercial when we return for business. And we also recommend utilizing social media campaigns as well, where you can bring in traffic through social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook. Utilize Yelp for your, what am I trying to say? Utilize Yelp for comments and recommendations and Angie's List, because oftentimes in the past I know I've looked at Angie's List for a recommendation on who I would use for a specific service, and if you're higher up on Angie's List, when you Google search, the chances of you getting that business are much greater. All right, thank you.